The host of Leaders Pitch Tent in Laikipia.
Nanyuki Affordable Housing Project in Laikipia East constituency.
This is where the head of state launched the affordable housing project in Nanyuki and Lamuria Solio Kihara Primary School roads while drumming up support for other initiatives in his administration.
Ameenda kotini kuzuia hii kazi isiendelee kwa sababu wako na pesa, anaenda kununua wakili, anaenda kuhongana kotini ati hii kazi isimame ati kwa sababu ya mambo madogo madogo. Mimi nataka niwaambie hawa watu, na niliwaambia jana, nyinyi ambao mnataka kuzuia hawa vijana ya watu wengine wapate ajira hapa, ambao mnataka kuzuia mambo ya housing, nyinyi hamujawahi kulala njaa hata siku moja, hamujui. Nyinyi hamujawahi kutembea barabarani mkapiga lami mpaka kiatu ikakatika ukitafuta kazi, hamujui. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Nyinyi hamujui umaskini ni kitu gani?
Na rais kwa hii maneno ya mjengo ya manyumba, tuna encourage uendelee ndio hao vijana wapate kazi. Kwa sababu juu ya nyumba kupatikana watu wapate manyumba zao, hao vijana na wasichana wetu watapata kibarua waweze kupata kazi.
The Commander-in-Chief sustained his stance that corruption in the judiciary will not impede government efforts to afford Kenyans employment through the Affordable Housing Project and affordable health care through the newly launched Social Health Insurance Fund set to phase out the NHIF.
Nilisema juzi tuwache ufisadi kule kwenye mahakama zetu. Nani ajui hapa kuna ufisadi inaendelea mahakamani? Sijui kama tunaelewana. Nimesema ufisadi anywhere. Ufisadi in the executive, ufisadi kule kwenye legislature, ufisadi kule kwenye mahakama, lazima tupigane nayo. Kwa sababu three things are taking us backwards, have held our country hostage forever.
Ruto vowed to read the vice from all the three arms of the government, stating that they will not hide behind the veil of independency.
Three things: incompetent leadership, vested interest, and corruption. And we must deal decisively with all of them. I have said we are going to provide the leadership that will transform our country.
The second challenge, Your Excellency, niyo umetuambia ya vested interests na corruption. Your Excellency, sasa vile ulideal na incompetent leadership, hii ya vested interest na state capture na corruption, hiyo rais na kuomba uniachie. Nitanyoroshana na wao na hiyo vested interest na corruption itakoma Kenya.
In 5 years, tunataka kwanza kupunguza from 500 billion mpaka 250. In 10 years, hatutakuwa tunaagiza chakula tena katika taifa letu la Kenya. Tutakuwa tunazalisha chakula hapa nyumbani.
Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
All right, it appears like there's no let-up on the part of the executive, really, in its criticism on the judiciary. But in the meantime, a warrant of arrest has been issued against 10 employees of the Keto House Club who failed to honor court summons. 11 others who appeared in court were charged with, among others, assault, causing bodily harm and sale of shisha, which is a banned substance. The 11 were released on a cash bill of 30,000 shillings or 100,000 shillings bond, while the shisha seller got away with a 10,000 shillings cash bill. More details from our court reporters.
Wednesday morning at the Milimani Law Court, 11 employees from Kettle House Club took to the court following an incident on Friday night in which they were alleged to have assaulted police officers and journalists during a raid at the premises by Nakada officials for the alleged sale of shisha, a substance that was banned in 2017. The 11 who appeared before Principal Magistrate Gilbert Shikwe were charged with 7 counts of assaulting 4 journalists, among them KBC's camera lady Jane Kibira, who was stabbed in the back.
Particulars are that on the 5th day of January 2024, jointly with others not before court, being security guards of Kettle House Bar and Grill, located along Mudangari Road, within Nairobi County, you jointly assaulted one James Mogoiri Kibira, a KBC journalist who was among a team of Nakada enforcement, therefore causing actual bodily harm to the said journalist. Is it true or not, Albanese? No. Charles? No. Bramwell Busane?
Not true.
Joseph Mwai?
Not true.
Daniel Kaka?
Not true.
Idi Onyango?
No.
They, however, deny the charges and were released on a cash bail of 30,000 each. However, for the 10 who are part of the 21 but failed to show up in court,
this case is allocated to court number 11 for hearing and determination. The matter shall be mentioned before that court on the 24th of January 2024 for pretrial directions.
They now find themselves fugitives of the law after a warrant of arrest was issued.
The charges they're faced with is essentially one transaction, one day. Also note the fact that they've been out on a police bail of 10,000 shillings and they've presented themselves in court and the nature of their work. So for the first to the 10th accused, they'll be released on a bond of 100,000 shillings, which surety similar amount, or an alternative of cash bail of 30,000 shillings each, with 2 contact persons each. For the 12th accused person, Sospita, is released on a cash bail of 10,000 shillings with 2 contact persons.
Elsewhere, the state wants the Court of Appeal to suspend High Court orders blocking the implementation and enforcement of the Social Health Insurance Fund Act 2023. Through lawyer Fred Ngatia, the court was told that the orders issued last year in November will deny thousands of Kenyans a right to health care. The 3-judge bench led by Justice Patrick Kiage is expected to give a ruling next week on the matter. Ruth Wamboy for Prime Edition.
I think you saw the behavior of those bouncers from Kettle House. Jane Wamboy of KBC still nursing her stab wound. And probably in a reaction to it, the government has given all bouncers, bodyguards, event stewards, door supervisors, event security, VIP protection, close protection, and crowd control security personnel 3 weeks to undergo security training in an institution accredited by the Private Security Regulatory Authority. The authority said anyone found offering the services without a valid training certificate or duly registered and licensed faces a fine or imprisonment.
In a bid to address various skills and knowledge gaps within the private security industry, the government has set out on a nationwide mandatory security vetting, training and licensing exercise. The directive targets bouncers, bodyguards, event stewards, door supervisors, event security, VIP protection, close protection and crowd control security personnel.
Now, for those thinking that they can dance around the law, here is a reality check. Ignoring the law is a criminal offense under Section 69 of the Private Security Regulations Act number 13 of 2016. Whether you are alone or a corporate entity, fines and imprisonments are on the menu. And trust me, PSRA will serve them without any leniency.
Upon successful completion of the training, the Private Security Regulatory Authority will issue a guard force number to registered and licensed bouncers. It is mandatory for all bouncers to visibly wear the guard force numbers bearing their names and license numbers while on duty. To enhance accountability, all bouncers are mandated to operate under the umbrella of corporate entities.
In the event I want to independently verify, I can take that guard force number and send it to a bulk SMS code, or I can go to the PSRA website and you just enter that number and it will bring you his details. Haven't you seen the companies that are now online? You don't have to even write to PSRA. You just go to the website. What do? You insert the name of the company. What do? You get the results.
This comes against the backdrop of the Kettle House bar incident that left several journalists and police officers assaulted by the establishment security team. At least 21 bouncers were arrested following the melee.
Now, I was perturbed when I saw your colleagues getting into a confrontational arrangement with the police officers. These are law enforcement officers. This is a national security organ established under the Constitution. You have a duty to cooperate with the national security organs. You are not an alien. You are not operating in space. You are operating within a legal framework. You are not an auxiliary of the security systems in this country. You are part of the national security infrastructure.
Fazul further adding that consequences of non-compliance will be severe and harsh. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Let's go back to a reaction on the president's criticism of the judiciary, and a section of Law Society of Kenya members are urging the executive to use available constitutional means to lodge complaints against members of the judiciary who are accused of being corrupt. Led by Umwanza Umbati, who is eyeing the position of LSK male representative to the Judicial Service Commission in the upcoming elections, the LSK members warned that continued attacks on the judiciary risk eroding public confidence in the institution. They faulted the executive for allegedly reneging on the pledge to respect the independence of the judiciary. They spoke during Ombati's presentation of his nomination papers at the Law Society of Kenya offices.
All of us agree. Yeah, there is no doubt about it. There is corruption, and it is a cancer that has become endemic, and it must be dealt with. That one, there is no debate about it. If the president has concerns regarding corruption within the judiciary, they must be addressed through the appropriate channels. The president should adhere to the provisions of Section 31 of the Judicial Service Act, which provides for the legitimate process of removing a judge or judges who are in office.
The government is on a self-evaluation move as announced by the Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, and now it says it has achieved a 6.9% growth in the job creation program, particularly in the formal sector. Government spokesperson Isaac Maura says job opportunities have subsequently increased from 2.9 million to 3.1 million in the last 1 year. Public Service Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria termed the achievement a great milestone, bearing in mind that millions of Kenyans are jobless. This even as he called on Kenyans to give the Kenya Kwanza administration ample time to deliver on their pre-election pledges.
Kenya Kwanza government on Wednesday took stock of achievement made so far in 3 ministries, 16 months in office in an initiative dubbed Government Roadshow. The focus was on the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, as well as the Ministry of Agriculture. Government spokesperson Isaac Maura revealed that the government has so far attained 6.9% growth in the job creation program in the formal sector.
The government has entered into agreements for labour exchange with several foreign entities, including the recently advertised positions for nurses to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As you are aware, we have 2,500 jobs that are up for grabs.
Despite the prevailing economic circumstances, we create our job creation in the formal job sector, expanded by 4%. In many other countries, that has contracted. But just that increase of 4%, both in domestic jobs and in overseas jobs, an area that is becoming very prominent within this administration.
At the same time, the government has achieved 360% in the National Social Security Fund, with the savings graph moving from 1.4 billion to 6.5 billion shillings.
Pia tumeweza kuhakikisha kwamba malipo ya uzeeni, ile hazina ama mfuko wa kitaifa wa hazina ya uzeeni ambayo inaitwa NSSF, imeongezea pato lake kutoka shilingi bilioni 1.4 mpaka shilingi bilioni 6.5, na hilo liliongezeko la asilimia 360 tangu uhuru. Kwa hiyo ni jambo ambalo tunafaa kulisifia zaidi.
In the meantime, the beneficiaries of the Social Protection Fund that is targeting the elderly, people with disabilities as well as orphans have tremendously increased from 1.2 million people to 2.5 million.
Starting from this month, our elderly people, our vulnerable people, for the first time, they will be receiving their monthly stipend directly on their mobile money, on M-Pesa, on Airtel money, on Telcom, directly on their phones, something that they have not seen all these years.
Mwaura says the government roadshow that kicked off on Tuesday is aimed at establishing successes made, as well as challenges that different ministries go through while executing their mandate.
The review is focused on the respective ministry's performance contract, looking into ministries' cross-cutting issues and the technical performance aspects, with a view to establishing successes and challenges in the implementation of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, popularly known as BETA.
And this roadshow has even revealed to us who have actually been swimming in this water. But when sitting back and taking a step back to see what we have done, I am personally very, very satisfied in what I'm finding. Yesterday, some very interesting statistics coming out.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
Police have commenced investigations into a shooting incident in Kisii, where several people were injured. Unknown individuals are reported to have stormed a meeting convened by Governor Simba Arati before hurling tear gas and shooting indiscriminately. Nancy Okware has the details.
These were the scenes at Nyakambene Market in Boikanga Ward in Kisii County on Monday. A meeting held by Kisii Governor Simba Arati would turn chaotic after unknown individuals in civilian attire opened fire, shooting indiscriminately, forcing the crowd to scamper to safety. Several people were injured during the incident. It is this incident that is now a subject of a police probe amid claims the assailants were supporters of a member of parliament in the county. The Monday incident received condemnation from Kisii County Security Committee. The County Commissioner Tom Anjere says that investigations are underway and called on those with crucial information to come forward.
Kamati ya usalama inafanya kila juhudi kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo haitarudiwa. Tumefanya kikao na vitengo vyote vya usalama na tumekubaliana ya kwamba hatua ichukuliwe kwa wale wote ambao walihusika. Kama ni kiongozi ambaye alihusika pale, hatua ichukuliwe. Kwa hivyo hatutaangalia cheo cha yeyote ule alihusika.
Area leaders have called on the relevant authorities to take legal action against the legislator.
The attack on the residents of Kisii County and a serious security threat posed to the residents. We share the pain of the many victims of the attack who are nursing serious injuries both at home and hospitals.
Na tumempa serikali masaa 72 wasipofanya chochote kuliko na kulingana na ile kisigasi ambazo zilitokea basi sisi tutakaa chini kama county, tunaleta la kusema. Kuna mahakama, tunajua mahali sheria ilienda murama.
MP Silvanus Osoro has since distanced himself from the incident, saying he was within the area to disburse bursaries and launch roads when he learned of the fracas. He called for political tolerance, even as he accused the governor's supporters of allegedly attacking his supporters and destroying their equipment.
We thank God that there were no, fatalities reported. We apologize to the people of South Mugirango and the people of Kisii for this thing. We hope that in the opportune time, this whole thing will be put to a stop, complete stop of antagonistic squabbles.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
A family in Siaya County is at crossroads after their 14-year-old daughter received an admission letter to join Lenana School, which is a boys' national high school. The teen, Gloria Adhiambo Owino, and her family are now appealing to the government to urgently address the error and place her in a national school that will ensure she reports to school and on time with her peers next week.
As students prepare to join Form 1 next week Monday, Gloria Adhiambo Owino and her family who reside in Siaya County are a worried lot. The 14-year-old girl who sat last year's KCPE exam at Nyalgunga Primary School in North Alego location, Siaya County, and scored 389 points, fears she could miss an opportunity to join a national school following a costly error in her placement.
Kwenda kudownload calling letter ni ndio calling letter nilipata. Asikuwa najua ni shule ya boys. Juu hapo walikuwa wameandika Lenana School. Sasa kudownload mwenye nilikuja kuangalia uniform, nikaona kama requirements ni za boys, walikuwa nataka trouser. Hivyo ndio sasa tulishinda, sasa tuanzie wapi?
Her mother, Margaret Awor, a casual laborer who, like her husband, does odd jobs in the village, are also uneasy as they wait to know her fate, calling on the Ministry of Education to correct the anomaly urgently.
Ule mtoto yangu alipata tu marks vizuri, lakini sasa bahati mbaya hiyo form ilirudi tu kama ni ya boys. Sasa sijui nitafanyaje. Sasa aliniambia wewe jaribu kuenda tu town ama upige simu kwa hiyo shule
Nilijaribu kupiga simu kwa hiyo shule, halafu wakushika hata simu. Kwa maana nilifikiria ati wakipiga ndio nazungumza na hawa, lakini wakushika hiyo simu.
For Prime Edition, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
At least on this part of the world, Gloria is a female name. There's no possible explanation as to why she would be posted to a boys' school. At that point, we take a short breather. We're coming back with more news, including business and sports. Don't go too far.
Ukiwa dereva, usalama wa abiria uliowabeba uko mikononi mwako. Usiendeshe gari kama umechoka ama umelewa, na hakikisha unazingatia kasi iliyoidhinishwa. Usalama barabarani unaanza na wewe. Ujumbe huu unaletwa kwako na Kenya National Highways Authority. Quality Highways, better connections.
Yani shida za mwaka, njaa ya mwaka, ugumu wa mwaka, lazima ikuwe January. Sio lazima. This January, jishindie up to 1 million Kenyan shillings kupitia *570# Lucky Game. Kumbuka, kila 100 shillings inakupatia 1 entry point kuingia kwenye draw ya ushindi. 21st of January, hapa ndani tunawatoa washindi wa shilingi 1,500 na shilingi milioni 1. Ni yako hii. Cheza Lucky Game ujishindie a million on the 21st of hii January. Sipaja, dial *570#.
Kwenye ulimwengu wa sasa, taaluma za mikono zina umaarufu mwingi. Jiunge na Sensei Institute of Technology tukupe ujuzi na uzoefu wa kushughulikia ulimwengu. Tunafunza taaluma kama plant operator, plant mechanics, kuendesha gari na trailer, kuweka CCTV na alarm, kuweka solar, kuweka stima, motorcycle, motor vehicle mechanics na electronics, teknolojia ujenzi wa mijengo, ujenzi wa barabara na mabwawa, hospitality na taaluma nyinginezo. Kujiunga nasi, beba kitambulisho chako na utembelee tawi letu lolote. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Iko na nini? Tukuli ni nini? Tukuli ya bachelor's boys whatever. Tukuli ndio hiyo mheshimiwa.
Wewe ni mtoto.
Mimi si mtoto.
Unasoma hiyo shule?
Sisomi kwa hiyo shule.
Sasa utadropiwa wapi?
Kwani nani achapo ndio hiyo?
Wewe anakidnap mtoto, ana traumatize mtoto sababu ya pesa ngapi wewe?
Na wakati wewe na kunyima pesa ndani ya nyumba, unasikianga namna gani?
Nasikianga ni kama naweza kole tande na nitafute bwana mwingine.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference. By just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime, your generosity can provide access to sanitary pads, nutritious food, clean water, education, and life-saving medical care to those who need it most. To support this cause, please tune in to your favorite radio station under the KBC umbrella for step-by-step instructions on how to subscribe. KBC Helping Hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
Welcome back. You're still watching Prime Edition. To another KCSE shocker, students from Oruba Boys in Migori County are in shock after most of them scored a mean grade of a D and E In the released Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examination, that is KCSE results, the students have disputed the results, terming them dubious, and now want clarification to ascertain the authenticity. The school managed to attain 2 C- as the best score.
A cry of despair can be heard near the offices of the Migori County Director of Education Office. These are protests against shocking results scored by candidates from Oruba Boys in Migori County in the just released 2023 KCSE results. To their dismay, they did not find the Director of Education to air their disappointment, but a junior officer who instead advised them to seek out the Kenya National Examination Council. Efforts to reach their principal and deputy principal were thwarted as they were unreachable even on phone.
Almost 75 candidates scored a mean grade of D. D. And in each and every exam that we have sat for, including internals and external, we haven't seen such a result. We haven't seen. In each and every exam, we must have what we call a curve in an exam, whereby we must have the top rank and the lower rank. You can find those people who have got quality grade and the lesser grade. But in Oruba Boys, it is a shock. This is totally a shock. We only want to prove that this is our result. We haven't seen such a result in Oruba.
Exam ya Suna West. Tunajua pale tunafika. Ndio tumefanya.
Matokeo yenye nilitolewa jana ni kama si yetu. Hatujui hiyo results.
Mimi nilikuwa niko tu relax nikijua nitapita, but Kenya ilikuja D- napeleka wapi? Hiyo si result yangu. Yenye hata wakiacha hivyo, hiyo si result yangu. Acha tu ni pretend niliacha shule sijafanya KCSE. Hiyo acha tu ni pretend.
The now almost hopeless and disappointed students now wonder who will give them a listening ear to authenticate the results they received. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Some really sad story there, and of course we wish that probably they'll get reprieve from the Kenya National Examination Council. Now, the former Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed's home has fallen victim of the ongoing demolitions in Kakamega County to pave a way for affordable housing project. The house located in Kakamega's Milimani estate was demolished despite a court order halting the exercise in the county.
In the outskirts of Kakamega, residents of Milimani are in the last-minute rush to salvage what they can as demolitions continue under the supervision of the police. Posh houses could not be spared as the government moves in to implement its agenda on affordable housing project. Former Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed is among the victims of the ongoing demolitions.
Kama mtu amejenga ameharibu nini yake, unaharibu mali yake hivi, sio vizuri. Wenzetu tunalia, serikali tuangalie maneno na sio vizuri. Hapo afadhali utujenge badala ya kufanya nini ya kubomoa manyumba za watu hivi.
Despite the opposition of the demolitions by Kakamega County Lawyers Association, some residents have however expressed optimism in the government's move to demolish the houses, saying this will create employment.
Tunatafuta kazi, hakuna kazi na watu tumesoma. Angalau hata saa hii hatutalala njaa juu tumepata at least kitu. Ukiangalia kama huku shamba ni kubwa kama ekari 3, mtu anaishi mmoja, na hapa serikali inaweza jenga at least hata sisi tupate kitu.
Ruto amefanya kitu ya maana kuendelea juu mtu anaishi hapa, watu wameishi wamenyang'anya tu mashamba huku, watu wanahangaika mashamba. Hiyo vitu yenye Ruto alikuwa amesema anajenga, wacha ajenge hizo nyumba tukuja watu tunaishi huko. Hata kama nyumba ni 2,000 takuwa analipa hata mwisho wa mwezi.
Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
to the ongoing impasse over the disbursement of the CDF, a section of Ford Kenya legislators under the Ford Kenya Parliamentary Group has continued to push for the release of the National Government Constituency Development Fund, saying without the funds, it will be difficult for the heads of schools to sustain learners in schools. The MPs also say lack of funds will hinder the implementation of a junior secondary schools infrastructural development. The MPs also, who mostly come from the Western region, at the same time want the government to fulfill the promise it made to the people of the Western region, including settling dues of Nzoia sugar farmers and completing stalled projects.
When you look at last year's poor performance in the national examination, it is due to inconsistency in the distribution of bursary funds arising from delays in disbursement of CDF funds. And you can see that this year it is even worse because the students have opened without any single funds being dispersed to the schools.
We want to see the executive orders, the presidential orders and directives being honored. My brother talked about Sangalo. When the president was in Bungoma, he directed that Magemo TTI be advertised and be allocated money. Up to now, nothing has been done.
Police in Machakos have arrested and detained 2 people in connection with the murder of a Machakos University student last night. Elsewhere, Lakisama and Babadogo residents have urged the government to act with speed and retrieve the body of a 17-year-old boy who drowned in a quarry on Monday afternoon. This and more in the county news wrap.
Machakos Sub-County OCPD Emmanuel Okanda says the body of a second-year student at Machakos University has signs of bleeding from the nose, mouth and ears.
Further investigations are ongoing to establish the real cause of murder. The body of the said student has been taken to Machakos Level 5 Hospital for preservation and post-mortem. So far we have 2 male still students at the said university who are in custody assisting the police with further investigation.
Meanwhile, Lakisama and Babadogo residents have urged the government to act with speed and retrieve the body of a 17-year-old Humphrey Saika who drowned in a quarry on Monday afternoon. The residents claim no efforts to retrieve the body were forthcoming from the relevant authorities.
Walikuwa kama wanashindana, wenzake wenye walikuwa nao wote waliingia kwa maji wakaswim. Humphrey naye akaona amebaki peke yake, pia akajirusha kwa maji. Sasa venye alijirusha mahali penye akafai.
Sasa hapa kwanza nataka oxygen na light. Unaona? So tumekuwa tukiomba serikali kutoka Kasarani, wanatutumia tu gari na maafisa 2 watatu wanasimama hapo wanaangalia wakienda.
And Busia Water and Sewerage Company employees have gone on strike and locked up the office's main door to protest unpaid salary arrears.
Miezi 12 hatujalipa mshahara. Watu wamechoka. Na imefika mahali ambapo sasa tumeamua tuje. We are seeking audience, especially with our governor.
We're going to meet with your senior management, the MD and the management, together with the board, and we put in place, we apologize first of all. It is true that we owe you money, but we have a strategy. We will communicate to your leadership.
Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire has in the meantime extended an olive branch to the county's 97 doctors who went on strike beginning midnight, decrying poor working conditions.
We are asking the doctors to reconsider their stand. My doors are open. I'm ready to meet them, but I'm asking them to come to me, not with set minds, but to come to me with open minds so that we can be able to deal with what is possible, and what is impossible, we agree how to make it happen in the medium to long term.
Elsewhere, North Imenti MP Rahim Dawood has urged the national government through the Ministry of Finance to disburse NGCDF money to facilitate needy students joining Form 1 and those in secondary schools.
Kukosa pesa inakuwa shida, sio basari peke yake. Hata baada ya El Nino, shule nyingi choo zao zimeanguka, mabati zina leak. Sasa hata kufanya hiyo repairs imekuwa shida.
Finally, Arabuko Forest High School, for the second time in a row, is leading in the 2023 KCSE examination, Kilifi County, for after recording a mean score of 8.14.
Grade ya B- ya 8.144. Katika hawa wanafunzi wale ambao walifaulu na kaweza kujiunga na vyuo vikuu walikuwa ni 88 kati ya hao 97.
Kisii na Masha, Prime Edition.
Mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
Mungu awabariki sana.
Ni wengi wanakushukuru bila hata wewe kufahamu.
Niliona Mungu wa ajabu ameshuka.
Ni wengi wanaokuaminia.
Imejaa, imebaki, yani hamtasa.
Ni wengi wanaokuombea ushindi.
Hawa ndio niachiwe na mama yao wakati aliwajeka kwa muda.
Ni wengi unaowagusa kwa kuwapa afueni na imani ya maisha.
Asante na Mungu akubariki pia.
Ni wengi unawatembelea.
Through hii program ndo tunajua vitu zingine.
Na imani yako inawapa amani.
Akaaga juu ya kansa.
Ushindi wako ni wa wengi. Asante mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
Can't we just keep the past in the past? For starters, your dad. He's trying to finish my family.
I have to get ready. I'm going on a date.
Who's the lucky guy? You may begin to address me as boss from now on.
Oh.
Why are you not in the office? She's not your boss.
You shall do anything to get me fired.
I know you're jealous of me because nimepata shares and you have none. You're on fire. Time is money. Chief, I like you. Yes. So nitakusaidia. Please. Kama unajipenda utatoka hapa hivi sai haraka sana.
Let's do business now. The new Kenya Cooperative Creameries will start paying farmers 15 days after milk delivery in new measures aimed at incentivizing the dairy sector. President William Ruto says prompt payment will reduce KCC pending bills and ensure farmers have a working capital. The president also announced a milk farm gate price of 50 shillings per litre from March this year.
Dairy farmers will start receiving 50 shillings per litre from milk processors beginning this March. While announcing the new farm gate prices, President William Ruto says the government processor will in future start paying farmers based on the quality of milk delivered in order to encourage quality milk production.
Tutaweka pesa ya serikali katika kumodernize KCC. Tukatafuta pesa karibu shilingi bilioni 2. Moja ya ile factory tuliweka modernization ni hii ya Nyahururu. Kiganjo tukaweka modernization, ilikuwa huko mwaka uliopita. Tukaweka modernization Kitale, Sotik, Eldoret, Nyambene, Runyenjes na factories zingine hapo katikati. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba factories zetu zinatumia mitambo ya kisasa.
In a raft of measures aimed at incentivizing the dairy sector, the president said farmers will be paid after every 15 days of the month to ensure farmers have adequate working capital.
Kuanzia mwezi wa 7, mimi nataka hawa wakulima tutaongeza pesa kwa KCC. Ili hawa wakulima walipwe kila tarehe 15. 15 days kila mkulima analipwa pesa yake. Kwa sababu hii kilimo ya maziwa gharama yake ni mingi.
The government milk processor is set to undergo a 5 billion shilling modernization program that will see a new modern milk plant constructed in Narok to serve farmers in the South Rift.
Tulikubaliana ya kwamba tujenge kiwanda ya KCC pale Narok. Mimi nataka niwatangazie watu wa KCC na wakulima ya kwamba pale Nyambene tutakamilisha modernization. Tuliweka tayari karibu milioni 500. Imebaki milioni 150. Hiyo pesa tayari nimetafuta, tutakamilisha modernization ya mbele na tutaanzisha factory mpya pale Narok, ndio tuweze kukusanya maziwa zaidi.
New KCC will also partner with an Indian company to start production of milk packaging materials locally in order to reduce the cost of production and increase farmers' earnings.
Equipment, badala ya kuagiza kutoka nchi zingine, tutakuwa tuna manufacture equipment hapa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya kupitia partnership ya KCC na company ambayo tumekubaliana na Prime Minister Modi, na wata manufacture hiyo equipment kwa bei ya chini, ndio tuweze kufikia wakulima wengi, kwa sababu mlisikia ya kwamba wakulima wengi wanahangaika kukamua ng'ombe zao, inakuwa na matatizo na quality ya milk inaharibika kwa sababu ya zile equipment ambazo zimekosekana.
The government will also release additional funds to aid the new KCC mop up excess milk from farmers after successful short rains. Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, the government is seeking a contractor for the construction of 2,850 housing units, a school and a market on the KBC VOK Mombasa land. Meanwhile, at least 500 labourers have secured employment under the Buxton Phase 2 project, which is in early stages of construction. That is 1,512 units. As our reporter Janay Karisa reports, at least 50% of the construction works towards achieving 26,824 affordable housing units across the coastal town are ongoing.
The government is intending to set up at least 50,000 affordable housing units across the coastal city of Mombasa. At least 50,000 of the construction works are in the pipeline, with the working target of 26,824 units in the first phase. The second phase of the Buxton project, commissioned last year by President William Ruto, is already underway. The project will see 1,512 units set up upon completion.
We have about 500 skilled and unskilled laborers engaged. It's at 3% of physical construction, and we are happy that going forward the contractor is accelerating the works so that we are able to complete it within the timelines.
The tendering process for the construction of the VOK land in Mombasa has commenced and is expected to host 2,850 units, a school and a market for the locals.
We have already put that project under procurement, and we should be having a contractor on site as soon as possible.
In addition, the National Housing Corporation is setting up 20,000 units in Changamwe constituency, while 2,000 units are being erected in Mzizima in Likoni constituency.
So within a year, we should have numbers hitting to our end.
Coast Region Affordable Housing Director affirmed that most projects were within the completion date, as the region expects to establish 100,000 units, over 3,000 students' villages, as well as several markets.
We have a very, very friendly framework to ensure that each and everybody fits where they belong and according to their needs.
Haya ni mambo ambayo tunatekeleza kwa pamoja, ikiwa ni serikali kuu kwa pamoja na serikali ya county ama ya ugatuzi, na kwamba kila kitu kiko sawa.
Sekta ya nyumba itawafanya vijana wengi watajishughulisha na familia zao zitakuzwa vizuri kama familia zile nyingine.
Juni Karisambele from Mombasa County.
Innovative business and startups across Africa will benefit from better access to risk capital from $30 million equity investment by the European Investment Bank Global in the Seedstars Africa Ventures One Venture Capital Fund. EIB Vice President Ambroise Fayol says increased access to capital will allow companies to grow, creating skilled jobs and improving products and services for businesses and consumers.
And will invest in companies developing and implementing digital technologies, in particular those addressing basic needs such as education, healthcare, and utilities, or enhancing goods, services, and efficiency.
The European Investment Bank is still here to continue to support African startups and SMEs at this very crucial time when the economy is struggling.
SeedStars is a global organization that invests and supports entrepreneurs from emerging markets. SeedStars Africa Ventures invest in seed and Series A rounds with an ability to follow on significantly, effectively bridging the pool of capital available. The fund leads investments rounds to facilitate syndication and provide strong operational support that is critically lacking in the regional venture capital space.
We do this support through SMEs through various products. We support microfinance institutions here that then on-lend the capital we provide them with to small companies and even to private individuals. We are a large financier of the local banks here. Again, the idea when we provide them with capital is that these banks can then on-lend to SMEs.
The fund uniquely leverages support resources provided by acceleration platform of SeedStars. Kenyan and African digital economies have tremendous potential in helping entrepreneurs access finance to foster quality growth and jobs, a common priority for both the EU and African partners.
We hope to stimulate the creation of an ecosystem here in Kenya. There is already a venture capital ecosystem here, but by supporting a new fund manager that hopefully will become successful, will hopefully raise a second fund in a few years' time with more capital so they can continue supporting businesses and more businesses and to support these companies for longer. So it's also an important sign to the ecosystem here and hopefully a stepping stone to an even better Kenyan private sector.
Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Loto Moto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Get ready for the captivating return of the FKF Premier League, exclusively on KBC. Brace yourself for the thrill of football as 18 teams battle it out for glory. Every week, KBC brings you not one, but two heart-pounding matches, delivering the best football action right to your living room. The stakes are higher than ever. The league champion takes home a handsome prize of 5 million shillings and also earns the honor of representing Kenya in the prestigious CAF Champions League. Feel the adrenaline, experience the suspense, and join the roar of the crowd as we celebrate the return of Kenya's football legacy. The FKF Premier League, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 and KBC radio stations. Save the date, mark your calendars, and get ready for the ultimate football spectacle. Coming to you live only on KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
Good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sports. Now, the Kenya Volleyball Federation has unveiled the provisional squads for the national men's and women's volleyball teams. That's the Wafalme and Malkia, ahead of the CAVB Africa Games qualifiers set to serve off in Egypt from the 21st of January. The teams are expected to leave the country on the 20th of this month.
18 men and 19 women are expected to hone their skills at Nyayo Stadium ahead of the Continental Showpiece. Malkia strikers who have already qualified for the Olympic Games will enter the qualifiers as defending champions of the African Games.
Historically, it's a very important game to us because it determines who rules the waves in Africa. And we are going in there. We are the defending champions in indoor women's volleyball as well as outdoor beach volleyball women.
The women's squad is led by Captain Massimo Im. Immaculate Nekesa, Esther Mutinda and Joel Useneka will fight for center position, while the liberal position has Agrippina Kundu, Lisi Jeruto and Elizabeth Wanyama. The center players are led by Edith Makavulani, Lauren Chebet, Teresa Atuka and Belinda Barasa. Kenyan international Veronica Odhiambo is expected to join the team to fill the gap left by Sharon Chepchumba, who is sidelined through injury.
To be back, but now not as a player but as a trainer. This is what I always dreamt about after I retire from active volleyball. The volleyball that they are playing now, it's almost the same like I used to play. So I can say that me being part of the technical bench, it will be very helpful.
The men's teams has Seta Brian Meli, Kelvin Kipsegoi, Gregory Kiplimo, James Mutero, Sam Juma, Hudson Kipchumba and Elfas Makuto, among others. The Africa Game Qualifier Tournament is slated for January 21st to 30th in Egypt. Kioria Mwangi for Prime Edition Sports.
Now moving on is that FKF Premier League side Shabana have appointed Sami Pamzo Omolo as their new head coach. In a statement, the club expressed confidence in the former Kenyan international's ability to take Shabana to greater heights in the top tier. Omolo has previously managed record league champions Gor Mahia, Posta Rangers, Tusker FC, Sony Sugar, Zetech University, KCB, Kenya Police and Mahakama, among others. The coach also boasts of a single league title with Tusker FC in 2011. His appointment marks the end of speculation over the vacant coaching position, with the league outfit having approached Nairobi City Stars coach Nicholas Muyoti. Having played 17 matches so far, Shabana have managed 3 wins, 5 draws and 9 losses. And the national men's handball team tactician Peter Mwadhi says the team is currently working on defense and attack as they progressively improve on their weaknesses ahead of the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations slated for the 15th to the 29th of this month in Egypt. Kenya and Rwanda are the only Zone 5 representatives at the Continental Championship.
The national team under the tutelage of Peter Mwadhi and Brian Matthew is now on the 3rd week of the Anana residential training camp at Nyayo Stadium ahead of the Continental assignment. Coach Mwadhi said the team is perfecting defense and attacking skill to build their capacity for good results.
The team is real good because we are not where we were as we started the training. We are able to get to see progressively we are really improving. The boys have really catched up on the things that we expected them to receive. Of course, national teams is about merging players from different clubs.
We are working on their mental strength as well as physical strength. So we have session whereby where we work on the mental and prepare them for such a stage, because in such a stage we have stage fright for new players and rookie mistakes.
Veteran player Victor Otuoma believes the final squad, which will be named on Thursday, will be formidable for the task ahead.
I believe cohesively now we've also been able to, to build the team cohesion. And I can say as an individual, as a player, we are now fully ready for the task ahead, which is the AFCON 2024 in Cairo.
Had this session and the many other sessions that we've had, we are really trying to minimize on our mistakes and then maximize on the tactics that we are being given by our coaches. So for our fans out there, Kenyans, for my team, we are really hoping for the best. We will perform.
The championship will be also an Olympic game qualifier for the winner, making it to Paris, while the two runners-up will proceed to the African Games. Kenya and Rwanda are the only Zone 5 representative who will take part in the Africa Cup of Nations. The national team is expected to leave the country on January 15th. Kioria Mwangi for Prime Edition Sports.
And on to the fairways, where Greg Snow of Muthaiga Golf Club emerged as the winner of the 3rd leg of the Safari Tour held at the Par 72 Sigona Golf Club. Greg's performance led him to victory with a score of 11 under par, 277. He had scores of 69 in the first and second rounds, 68 in the third and 71 in the fourth. Securing second position was Joroge Kifogo, also from Muthaiga, while Mohit Medirata of Sigona claimed the 3rd slot. Greg walked away with a cash prize of 150,000 shillings.
Been a good week. Played some quality golf this week. At the end of the day, I mean, you can't beat a score of 11 under this week on these conditions of this golf course. But in terms of that, I think my golf game is coming back now. You've got to make mistakes out there with the way the conditions are. But in general, I didn't make any doubles this week. Made plenty of birdies, a couple of eagles. But in terms of that, yeah, it's been tidy golf this week. And like I said, I'm looking forward to next week now.
And now the magical Kenya Ladies Open Golf Championship returns to the 18-hole Baobab course in Vipingo Ridge, Kilifi County from the 8th to the 11th of February 2024. The event makes a return for the 4th edition of the tournament, having been held in 2019, 2022 and 2023. The magical Kenya Ladies Open, the only women's professional golf tournament in East Africa, will serve as the season opener for the 2024 Ladies European Tour calendar. Entries for the tournament opened on the 1st of January with a field of 108 players expected to compete over 4 days for a share of the 300,000 euros prize money. The tournament follows the success of the 2023 edition, where Aditi Ashok from India secured victory with a 9-shot lead. And Bayer Leverkusen striker Victor Boniface has been ruled out of the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire through injury. In another blow to Nigeria's preparations, he now joins a growing list of Nigerian players who will miss the Africa Cup of Nations, among others being Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi.
Victor Boniface is the latest member of the Super Eagles squad to suffer an injury ahead of the tournament, which kicks off on 13th January in Abidjan. Knee striker Tere Mofe has been called up to replace Boniface pending the approval of the Confederation of African Football CAF and agreement with the players' French League One club. Boniface now joins a growing list of Nigeria players who have been forced to miss AFCON through injury, including Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi and Leicester City midfielder Wilfred Ndidi. Meanwhile, Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana is set to make a U-turn on his availability at the Africa Cup of Nations. Andre Onana has been selected in Cameroon's 27-man squad for the tournament, but has delayed linking up with his teammates, featuring in United's 2-0 FA Cup win over Wigan Athletic on Monday. Cameroon takes on Guinea in the opening group game on January 15th, and Onana was hopeful featuring in both games despite the quick turnaround. Finally, Senegal captain Sadio Mane said they will face an uphill task despite being the Africa Cup of Nations holders when they face Gambia, Cameroon and Guinea. Mane, one of the several Senegalese stars who joined the lucrative Saudi Pro League this year, admits that while winning 2 years ago was difficult, retaining the title will be even harder.
Now, in championship side, Middlesbrough will take a 1-goal lead into the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final after a 1-0 win over Chelsea at the Riverside Stadium last night. The other semi-final takes place tonight, with Liverpool hosting Fulham in their first leg.
Colwell's got wrong side again here. And here is Jones against him. Oh, what a chance! Slid home by Hayden Hackney. Advantage Middlesbrough late in the first half. And it's come down that channel, and there have been a few mistakes in there. This one has been punished. Well then.
Hayden Hackney's first half finish for the championship side put Michael Carrick's men in front to the delight of the home crowd. Chelsea have now left themselves with work to do to reach the final at Wembley. The return leg will be played at Stamford Bridge on 23rd January. Middlesbrough won the EFL Cup in the 2003 and 2004 season and are now just potentially 90 minutes away from reaching the final. The other semi-final takes place tonight with Liverpool hosting Fulham.
And so that's the sport for tonight, and more coming tomorrow. So stay tuned for all that our desk will be putting together for you. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to you, John Jacob Kioria.
Thank you very much, Daniel Wahome. That, of course, was a very disappointing result for Chelsea last night. But, of course, we hope they will put up a better show in the return leg. Thank you very much for watching Prime Edition. God bless you. Have yourself a good night. See you around.